Okay, folks. So, a very interesting post came up on my Facebook feed this week. A Singer 930 Turbo, a thing of absolute beauty. And the one thing about Singer is they know how to spec their Porsches. And I looked at the Singer and I thought to myself, how many of my customers could ever afford to buy a Singer? Very few to none. Could we spec a modern day 911 Turbo to look as good as that Singer at a fraction of the price? That's what we're going to do this evening. I'm going to cut across to the image of the Singer, have a good look at it with me, and then let's get to the configurator and see if we can't build one for, yes, still an earth-moving amount of money, but a fraction of the price of that Singer. This is the post that came out, and again, shout out to all the guys on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok that post up these wonderful images of Porsches. I absolutely love them. This is the picture of that Singer. The interior modernized, but kept classic 930. I absolutely love it. You can see the elements we're going to have to bring in here. The blue into the interior, and of course the houndstooth on the seats. Now, I'm not sure we can do the houndstooth on the modern 911 Turbo, but we can get pretty close. And then on the exterior, you can see they've got the high gloss black whale tail. They've got the beautiful mag wheels with the chrome and the high gloss black, and then of course the black around the windows and the black mirrors. Let's see how close we can get to it, and let's see how close we can get to that color, because that color is definitely not standard. Fantastic. Let's get into it. Alrighty, we're in the configurator. Pick the 911, scroll down to the Turbo. There it is. Alrighty, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to pop that image up into the top left-hand corner. Now, we've got to try and get that color. That color, I've been digging around in the configurator, and you guys can dig around too if you want to see if you can get closer to it than I've managed to get to. I think the closest color is that turquoise blue. If you have a look at that image, the turquoise blue is about as close as we can get. I've fiddled around here with golf blue, looking at that. It's a little bit too dark. Yeah, it's too dark. You see, getting back here. Then I went down a little bit. I thought, let's try down here on the Riviera blue. That's a bit too bright. And then we get a little bit darker, but it's still a little bit too turquoisey, not enough blue for me in there. And then we get too blue. So I went for this turquoise blue color over here, and I think that that's about as close as we can get, especially if I change the background to white for you, which I should have done already. You can see more clearly that that's about as close a color as we're going to get to that. I wish it was a little bit more blue, but I can't quite get there. Again, you guys can fiddle on the configurator, see if you can get a little bit closer. I can't seem to get it closer than the turquoise blue over here, and it's not quite right, but it's close enough. All right, we're going to have to put those classic mag wheels on, my favorite, as you guys know from all my videos, but we're going to have to black them up as well. We want to get those black bits in. This is about as close as we can get to that picture there. Look at that. On the, obviously in the old 930, you've got the black in the center with the chrome on the outside. Unfortunately, we can't do that, but this is pretty close to that. So that's our wheels done. Now we want to look at that interior. This is going to be the most challenging of all. We're going to have to pick here our custom interior design. Get ready, ladies and gentlemen. We are now going to put away a house on the interior. These things do not come cheap. As we said, we've got to get to as close to the houndstooth as we possibly can. The best we can do is the heritage design. It's not going to be too far off, which is fantastic. So we're going to pull through here. Now what we're going to do, though, is we're going to bring the blue touches through onto the leathers and the stitching and the seat belts as much as we can. The reason for that is, of course, because there's no open metal work inside this like there is in the 930 where you could pull the exterior color through on. So we've got to do it in the materials themselves. I think that's close enough to what we're seeing over there. I love putting the rear seats in. I think it just pulls through the magic even more into the car. Back to the exterior, let's have a look. We've got to put the high gloss black sports kit on. Why? Because we want to try and get as much of a whale tail going on in the back there as possible, as well as getting those black high gloss bits on the front pulling through. That picture in the top left, you'll see that lip on the front there wrapping around the side towards the front wheels, and then down the side underneath the Porsche lettering, you'll see that high gloss black into the vent at the back. This is about as close as we can get. Let's get across here and have a look. Yeah, getting as close to a whale tail as we can on that Porsche. The high gloss black trim around the windows to match up with what we've got there in that picture at the top. We're going to get the black high gloss handles. Singer, shout out to you for trusting in the high black gloss and putting the black door handles in. It makes such a massive difference. Look at that, ladies and gentlemen. Look at the difference it makes. It breaks up those panels and they look absolutely fantastic. Good choice there from the Singer guys. And of course, reinforcing of my belief in those handles. What I want to do is I want to get the black high gloss model designation on the back because we don't want Turbonite on this. So we're going to put that on the back. I'll swing it around to the back. You can see it's going to change this into black for us. We're going to put the Porsche down the side just like them. Yes, we're going to pick the white down the side just as they have. If you take a look at that picture at the top, you'll see it's in white. Interior again. Let's see what we can do to this interior to make it even better. We're going to add the stitching. Let's see if we can do that. We're going to hit that Arctic blue. Let's pull that through. I think it'll match the seat belts, and I'm going to pull it into the car. Yes. We're starting to get there now. I absolutely love it. Great. I mean, it was only 83,000 Rand for this little itty bitty stripes, but it's giving us a bit of that color in the car, in the steering wheel, trying to replicate what we're seeing on the interior of the Singer, matching really the metalwork in the Singer because we can't do anything else. Alrighty, we're going to put in the dashboard and door trim package as well because we want to get the leather around the vents on the dashboard. We want to get the blue stitching in around them. Everywhere where we can, we are adding the leather and the blue stitching. Let's get our seat consoles in with some decorative stitching. We're going to put the blue in there too. So everywhere where we can, we're putting leather with blue. This is around the base of the seats. I do a separate video on the leather on the seat consoles. It's a total must. Let's put in the decent gear lever. We always want to do that, spending so much money. And leathered air vents, we try and get some blue in the stitching, and it will just bring in around all the vents, the blue and the blue and the blue. We're just pulling it through everywhere we can. I always like to leather up the sun visors. I promise you, it is worth putting the leather on the sun visors. It makes a huge difference. We're going to do that panel because we want to get as much blue in as we can to compensate for the blue panels in that Singer. That up here is the rear mirror. You can see the blue stitching in there already. It's actually absolutely beautiful. I've seen it in a few and it really makes a difference. All right, I want to put in the chrome pedals. I know this doesn't really have the chrome pedals, but it makes so much sport here with the chrome pedals, and they're not slippery. They are fantastic. Let's get more leather in and more stitching everywhere we can. Let's put it in. All right, we're going to put the black in then to match the high gloss on the outside of the car. Inner dorsal guards. I think this is already in, but let's have a look and see. No, it's not. Let's put that in. That's these sections underneath here. We're going to get a look. You see the blue stitching in everywhere. Those old 930 turbos came with these sort of nets down the side, so I'm going to stick one in our train. What do we want to do? Let's lower that. We're going to knock it down 10 millimeters. Get that. We put the lift system in always. We've got to get the black calipers. There's no such thing as yellow calipers in the 930 turbo. Look at how fantastic this vehicle is looking already. As close to a Singer as you can get with a modern 911 turbo. Porsche Entry. Always get the Porsche Entry. You can watch my video on Porsche Entry on all of my channels. If you can't find it on TikTok, go and find it on my YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram channels. Always get the Porsche dash cam in preparation so that they're not digging up your dashboard and your roof lining when you put a camera in. And so there, ladies and gentlemen, I believe is a modern day 911 turbo that can get you as close to having a Singer 930 turbo as you're ever going to get. Those things are 20, 30, 40 million rands worth. You can pick one of these up for just a fraction of the price. Enough to buy a small mansion, but a fraction of the price of a Singer. Absolutely beautiful. I love how we've brought the whale tail in as best we can. I love the blue accents on the interior of the car with this wonderful color on the outside. We've got that classic mag wheel on here, which is just superb. And we've got the Porsche writing down the side like Singer does. Really spectacular. We love it. Folks, if you want help configuring your 911, your Panamera, your Macan, your Cayenne, whatever Porsche it is, I have done thousands of configurations and I know how to make them perfect. I know all the things that'll help you not mess up your multi-million rand Porsche, not allow you to miss important things or put silly things in that you won't particularly need. I've got that information. I've been doing this for more than a decade now. Come to my website, www.myperfectcar.co.za, and book an appointment with me and let me help you get it right. Enjoy, ladies and gentlemen. I'll see you in the next video.